Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley, and this is another Integrating Your Shadow. Today we are going to talk about the dark night of the soul. If you've never heard that term, it's like a spiritual reference to doing shadow work. When I first started hearing it, when I started watching tarot readings and listening to other folk, I always envisioned it as dark night, like Knight, like a knight, like a knight in shining armor, like a dark night of the soul. And so I just wanted to share that in case you've ever had that thought hearing it. But it really is night, like nighttime, darkness. But whatever works for you. I like to envision a little knight in shining armor. I don't know. It's kind of cute. But anyway, I think that collectively we are experiencing a lot of shadow aspects, a lot of people coming into awakenings and doing work. So at a collective level, we can be going through a dark night of the soul, especially what we see happening all around us. But a dark night of the soul is really that space that folks refer to when you're in that shadow aspect of yourself, going through your inventory. And it's called a dark night of the soul because it is very lonely. It can be very scary. It can be traumatizing because things arise that we have to deal with, that we haven't in the past. But I just wanted to talk about it quickly. So dark night of the soul, that's the inventory of your own darkness. And that's what we've been talking about. So that's, recognizing things about yourself you don't like in others, which is like the projection and reflection. It can be things that you've been through in the past as a child, or whenever you experience trauma. It can be grief resurfacing, if you've experienced grief in your life. All of us have, but so all of these things can surface. It can also be other feelings as well, like embarrassment, shame, guilt. I think we've talked about this when we were introduced shadow work. But yeah, the dark night of the soul, it's a little misleading because you think that it's just one night, but it's not. It takes a long time. I feel like with shadow work and integrating your shadow, you get to a place where you're more at peace, but I feel like as we keep living and experiencing things, we're going to constantly have shadows arise. So a dark night of the soul can cause psychosis. It can, in my case, it did. It can cause gifts to come through that you are frightened of or afraid of. It can be the ending of relationships, when you have realizations or heal from things. It can also be an acknowledgement of certain trauma bonds. We're going to talk about trauma bonds a little deeper. I'll do that for the next one. But yeah, dark night of the soul is all of these things. It's when we've consciously made this commitment to doing this work, and we allow our subconscious to release these items or these things, and so that we can go through them and heal from them. And even if we don't heal from them, we're at least coexisting and acknowledging them. That's still a great part of growth and doing shadow work. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the dark night of the soul. And if you see it as a little, black knight, like chess piece, that's fine too, because I did. But yeah, I think that collectively we really are seeing a lot of folks going through this in the past few years. So if you are having a dark night of the soul, it's really important to Be really kind to yourself. Give yourself a lot of extra space, rest, just extra TLC and care, so that you don't end up in a mental ward or a, psych ward, mental ward. But if you do, if that's what you need to, there's nothing wrong with that, just I'm more speaking on involuntary stays, which has been my experience. But yeah, I think that there are a lot of good ways to get those things out of your body, out of your mind, out of your emotional space. I'll put some below. You can do tapping. There's a guy, Brad Yates, who does a lot of tapping sequences, and that helps like release stuck emotions. Tapping is called emotional freedom technique, or I don't know, EFT. So it's like a sequence of tapping on your pressure points, acupressure points, to release stuck emotions, and like rewire your subconscious. So I'll put Brad Yates' channel down below. I think I put him in on my Road to Wellness, but I'll put his channel down below. Of course, yoga and other ways to just move your body. That's going to help release some of the stuck emotions. But also just take extra care of yourself. If you need to sleep more, if you need to journal, if you need to confide in someone, I'm always available. Woodstock! 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 Sir! Where's this squeaky? Thank you. Hi, yeah. No, leave the kitties alone. So yeah, there's like a lot of things that are gonna come up. So if you do make that commitment, just recognize that things are gonna be coming forward in a lot of different ways. They might be external to you. You might witness someone else that reflects something within you, and just remember intention, and remember to be really sweet to yourself, but also hold yourself accountable and take responsibility for those things so you can release them and continue to grow. So I'll put a couple of resources in the description box below, and I'll see you all next time, and we'll talk about trauma bonds. Have a good one.